What's up, everybody? It's Jake the Barber, and I'm with my friend Scott at the Men's Club Barbershop in Philadelphia, PA. And today we're going to do a skin fade and a beard trim with a style top. Okay, guys, I'm going to start with my wall senior all the way closed, so it's a 0. And we're going to put that initial line in. Scott gets a relatively high fade, so I'm going to take the first line a little higher than I normally would. I want to dip it down just a tad in the back to follow the contour of the head. So now I'm going to get a detailer, and this is adjusted. This is bumped up a little more than the factory setting, so I'm going to just take the rest of that stubble off and the remainder of the hair that's below this line that we created with our senior. All right, just kind of gliding, knocking this hair off. And our fade really starts here. All right. Just making sure we're getting all this stubble down to almost nothing, because right after this we're gonna come in with the foil shaver and really bald his head out. We want to just brush all this excess hair off of his head before we go in with this so it doesn't miss any hair. So we're going to get our shaver, and we're just going to go a little bit below what we were doing with the detailer. You don't want to go too high with this, because this could leave a line that's really hard to get out. So it can be kind of hard to cut, but the best way is the feel check. So it feels good. It's bald. Next, we're gonna get our Andis Master all the way open. So it's on its biggest setting, right? And you wanna come just about an inch above that first bald line, right? So you just make our guideline here, and you're flicking out. Whenever you're cutting, you wanna flick out, right? So that helps eliminate those hard lines that are hard to fade out. Just kind of flicking out, go around the head. And as I'm doing this, I'm turning the chair with my other hand. It just makes my life a lot easier. After we have that guideline set in there, you just want to go down just a little bit, not all the way open, but almost. And you want to go right below that line we just set. And just flicking it out, just kind of using the corner of the clipper. I'm not like digging into the fade, I'm just kind of chipping it away. It's almost like you're erasing. And I like to keep one side at a time, so I don't like to keep spinning the chair back and forth. Saves a lot of time this way. You just kind of close your clipper as you go a little lower than the last time. Almost all the way closed. The line's almost gone. I can still see it a little bit. You can hear it cutting. And close it all the way. All right, now that line is faded out. Go to my other side. Same thing. All right. Now what I'll do next is I will take a 2. Closed, so it's a true 2, and I'll just go about an inch above where I made that first line. You want to keep the fade proportionate, so every step I like to take just about an inch. All right, and I'll take the 2 all the way around the head, dropping it down just a little bit in the back, keep the contour of the head, and just flick that out, and that's going to eliminate any trouble about blending the clippers to the shears. I'll put my 1 on, all the way open, and I'm just going to do that same technique I did at first, where I start right below the line with your clipper all the way open. So this is almost a 2. This is a 1, but it's all the way open, so it's almost a 2. So I'm just going to go right below my 2. and just flicking it out. Staying on one side to make my life a lot easier. Right? Close it just a little bit more. You're just going back and forth. You can hear the hair cutting. And after I do that, I like to take the one off, open the clipper all the way, and just kind of chip away in certain areas. If I see something a little bit more heavier, I like to just corner it. Just clean it up. That looks pretty good. You can always come back to certain areas, but you always want to keep it moving, especially in the barbershop. Time is money. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. One clip on the master all the way open, so it's almost a 2, right? We're just going to go back and forth. And we're going to do the same thing on the back to meet both sides of the fade, all the way open. Just kind of want to corner this, clean it up just a bit before we move on to our next step. Now I like to do all my clipper work before I get into any shear work. So Scott likes his beard nice and clean, so what we're going to do is we're just going to fade out this hard line into his beard. And you don't really need any guards or anything for that. So what I like to do is I start with my clipper, this is a Wall Senior. It's pretty much the same thing as the Andis Master, but I like it because it's cordless for beards. So I'll just kind of really tap this area. Really don't need much. And I'm just opening it a little bit as I go down, and I'm using my corner. You never want to go in because you're going to take a nice chunk out of the beard, and this area is really sensitive, and if you're not careful you can end up all the way down here. So you just want to stay up towards the top and just kind of opening it as you go down, and just using your corner, just kind of chiseling it away. You don't want to get too crazy with this. Don't ever overthink this area. And there you go, the line is gone. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to blow dry it from underneath. And then we open it up. This hair up here. That's that. I'm just going to have a downward motion with my clipper. He really doesn't want a lot of length taken off. He just wants it clean looking. So to achieve that, I'm going to have my clipper all the way closed so it's 0, and really carefully just going down on the beard in this motion. I'm just getting rid of those strays. Really not taking much off. And when I do this, I like to have a hard background, like the floor here, so I can see what I'm doing. Because if you just have open space, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. So if you have like a nice strong background, you can really see what's going on, and what hairs are poking out and what are. Alright, now that that's done, the beard's sculpted, so what I like to do is these little strays here, and I'm really careful in this area. You don't want to bring this all the way in, but there is some excess hair here. And I just like to get my detailer here and kind of just clean it up. You don't want to go too far into the beard, or really at all into the beard, but you want to get the hair off the neck and really make it look clean. Now we'll get to this mustache. Watch your eyes, Scott. So what I'll do is, since his mustache is long, and he likes to keep some mustache, but not all of it, is I'll just do a clipper over comb technique. Comb it out. I'll get under there. Just kind of comb like this. You don't want to kill the mustache. Now the mustache is under control, like you take the hair off the upper lip here, and you just want to kind of draw it. Use your corners. And be careful, guys, because this is a really unforgiving tool. Now Scott likes a sharp line on his beard, so what I like to do is I use a hairspray. I spray it on the outer line of the beard and the cheek, and what happens is this acts as like a dry shave gel. I don't really like to use shave gel if I don't have to, and this is going to add to a very crispy beard lineup. So I just spray that. I'll let that dry out, and then we'll go right into our shear work. All right. So we're just gonna texturize the top a little bit, and we're gonna blend the fade into this area. So wet down the head. You don't really need to wet it down too much. We're just gonna take a little bit off. It's really long in the front, so we're just gonna take a little bit off as we go around. Just in sections. And this doesn't have to be perfect, guys, because we're going for a textured top, so it doesn't have to be completely one length. It's better if it's a few different lengths. So I won't cross check it because it'll help for the textured finish. Normally I would cut this way and then I would cross check this way, but in this case, for this cut, I won't. It also saves time, but it adds to the textured finish that we're trying to achieve. So now we're going to blend the clipper part of the haircut into the shear part of the haircut. Now that we took the proper length off of the top, just want to comb this out, get it ready to be blended. We're just going to do a shear over comb technique to blend this top. And there's not a whole lot that needs to be done here. As you can see, you're just kind of fading it in. And it's the same thing with the clippers. You're just doing that C stroke and you're fading out. You don't want to go in because you're going to leave a line. If there's any extra line, we'll go in with our thinning shears and we'll just kind of get that little line out. But until then, we'll just blend with these. So what we're doing now is just our final touch on the cut. We're just going to blend this little area in here. And we'll kind of sweep through with the thinning shears before we style it. And lastly, we'll line this cheek line up with a straight razor because that hairspray is drying, or it's fully dry now and it's ready to be lined up. Just a few more steps left. We'll clear this line out right here. There's a bit of a line. And then we'll just kind of run it through the top so it helps with the textured finish. So we're going to comb all this down. We'll just kind of go through with the thinning shears. And you don't want to kill it with the thinning shears. Just want to hit the ends of it here, you know, run it through. Same technique as what we did earlier with the shear over comb. Just lifting it. I like to pull away with the thinning shears. These are just sharpened too, so it's not going to pull any hair. All right, comb it down. Just a little run through. I'll line it up a little bit again. Alright, so last, I'm just going to line this beard up, right? That hairspray, remember we sprayed that on earlier. And we're just gonna, pull the skin. And you're just gonna get that motion right here. You wanna keep your blade moving and be pretty delicate, but don't be too afraid. So I'm gonna get that beard shape. So I'm gonna see what I'm doing. That's why I like to use the hairspray, so you can see what you're doing. There you have it. I'm just going to dust them off, give it a once over. If we see anything, just clean it up. I'm going to get this neck hair off. Remember, we never want to leave the neck hair. That goes for underneath as well. Clean this up. Get rid of some of these strays here. So I'm going to use a sea salt spray to get that textured dry finish. And we have here a Spiced Citrus Sea Salt Spray by Beardbrand. So we're just going to douse the head down with it. Just kind of working it through with our hands. Just want to dry with your hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a matte paste and just kind of twist up certain areas. Get on both hands. You don't want to focus too much on one spike. Just moving. And there you have it. Texture top, skin fade with a beard trim on my tattooed brother Scott.
Beardbrand is a premium men's grooming company with products not only for your beard, but also your hair and body. Do yourself a favor and head over to beardbrand.com and take care of yourself. Or you can stick around and watch a few more of our awesome videos.